Hi there, my name's Pritchard, Chartered Physiotherapist and Certified Pilates Instructor, and today I'm going to be teaching a short class on Pilates in sitting. Now the exercises that we're going to be teaching have all been modified from the APPI Pilates method and also from the physiotherapy profession. So do follow these exercises within the levels of your own comfort and your own ability, and we also recommend that you follow any instructions that you have been given by your physiotherapist. If Pilates is new to you, then we've obviously got to recommend that you consult your GP or your physiotherapist before starting this class. So just thinking about the position that you're in. First of all, you want to think about the chair that you're sitting in. It needs to be quite a secure chair, and ideally you want your hips and your knees at 90 degrees and the feet flat on the floor. Armrests on the chair is fine, provided they're not going to limit the movement of your arms for the exercises themselves. Think about the clothing that you're wearing. So ideally it should be loose, comfortable clothing that's not going to restrict your movement. And similarly, the footwear that you're using, it should be well-fitting footwear, not too heavy, or alternatively you could wear socks that have got a bit of grip on the bottom of them, like Pilates socks. Now make sure you've got plenty of space around you, that you're not going to knock any objects off the shelves or anything like that while we're practicing the exercises. And obviously think about the temperature. Hopefully the temperature is just right for you, not too hot, not too cold. And we obviously recommend that you have some water close by as well, just so you're not going to dehydrate throughout the class. So if you just take a moment to get yourself into that nice comfortable position, and we're not going to play any music for the class, so you're obviously welcome to play your own music quietly in the background during the exercises. Okay, so let's spend a moment thinking about our posture. So we've got our feet flat on the floor, the hips and the knees that are around about 90 degrees, and I'd like you to imagine that you have a helium balloon attached to the crown of your head. Now that balloon is pulling you up nice and tall, you're feeling the back of your neck lengthening, and I'd like you to roll these shoulders back and down away from the ears. And again, let's roll the shoulders back and let the shoulder blades melt down towards your hips. I'd like to think about this chest being open, and your rib cage sitting lovely and soft. And then coming down to the pelvis, we're going to tilt that pelvis back and tilt the pelvis forwards. So it's just a slight movement coming from the pelvis. I'm keeping the back itself relatively straight. But you'll feel on your bottom that you've got the two sitting bones. And as you roll back, you feel the weight coming over the sitting bones and into your buttocks. And as you tilt the pelvis forward, you feel the weight coming across the sitting bones and into the backs of your thighs. So we're just going to do a few more pelvic tilts, and then we're going to let that pelvis come to rest in its neutral position. So the weight's going to be going down through these sitting bones. Let's pop the hands onto the rib cage. The fingertips are touching, and we're going to think about the breathing. So as you breathe in, feel that rib cage expanding, and as you breathe out, the fingers gently sinking back together. So as you breathe in, the fingers start to separate, and as you breathe out, they come back together. Let's just do one more deep breath. And then we're going to let the hands come to rest down on your lap. So we're moving on to the pelvic floor. And the pelvic floor is that sling of muscle coming from the front of the pelvis down and under to the tailbone. And we're going to activate the pelvic floor by imagining that you're stopping yourself from passing wind, you're stopping yourself from passing water, and you are lifting that sling up towards your breastbone. So just now it's feeling like quite a strong contraction, almost like you're lifting that heavy weight with your pelvic floor muscle. Now we're going to try and let it relax just halfway. So if it was like an elevator, rather than being at level 10 on the elevator, we're down to around about level 5. And we're going to let it relax halfway again, so you're going to be at around about level 3. And then we're going to let it go completely. And this time as you engage your pelvic floor, we're just looking to lift up to around about level 3. So it is a gentle contraction. It means our pelvic floor muscle is nice and awake, and it can switch on the deep abdominals as and when we need it. So now that we've got ourselves ready for the Pilates, we're going to start off with a few exercises with our arms. So let's tuck these elbows into the side. And first of all, I'd like you to think about your forearms. And we're going to turn the hands down, and we're going to turn the hands up. So we turn them down, and we turn up. So this is some nice movement coming in from the forearms. You'll notice the elbows stay tucked to the side, so we're not getting any movement from the elbows or any movement from the shoulders. It's all coming from the muscles in the forearms. So let's look at the coordination. This time we're going to have one arm up and one arm down, and we're going to swap them over. So we breathe in to swap, we breathe out to swap, we swap, and we swap. So we're still keeping that tall posture, almost like we're flipping pages on a book with the movement of the forearms. And now what we're going to do is we're going to bring in some movement with the hands at the same time. So this time as the hand turns down, we make a fist. As the hand turns up, we straighten it out. So it's a fist as we turn down and open as we turn up. So we've constantly got one hand open, one hand closed, one pointing up and one pointing down. So it's a lovely one for your coordination here. We're just going to do 2 and 1, and then turning both hands down, let's lift the hands up and lower the hands down. So we've still got the elbows tucked in, we're just doing a little bit more to warm up these wrists. And then we're going to take the hands in circles. And then we're going to change the direction of these circles. And then letting the arms come to rest, let's turn the palms up to the ceiling, ready for our dumb waiter. So for the dumb waiter, we breathe out to float the hands to the side to open up that chest. And we breathe in to float the hands back to the starting position. So we're breathing out to open, and we're breathing in to return. So as you open that chest, just feel the way your shoulder blades are gently gliding together. And as the chest opens, your collarbones are smiling towards your screen. So this dumb waiter is a lovely exercise, just for getting that stretch at the front of the chest and starting to work the muscles between the shoulder blades. We're not forcing the movement, just a lovely gentle glide of your shoulder blades. So from here we're going to take it on to an exercise called the Cleopatra. So for the Cleopatra we open the arms and then we reach them out to the side and then turn these palms down. Then we're gliding the elbows back in and then the hands come forwards. So we're breathing out to open and reach and turn, and we breathe in to return back to the starting position. Excellent, so we're keeping that tall posture throughout the entire movement. And we're going to do one more, and then we're going to improvise that we're going to do the movement with just the one arm at a time. So this time, just the one arm, we reach out to the side as we turn down, then we glide that arm in and back to the start. And the same with the other side. So just now I'm keeping the whole trunk nice and still. The rest of my body is staying perfectly still and all the movement is coming from just the one arm. So we'll just do one more to each side, and then we're going to tie this movement into a much more functional task. So this time we float the arm to the side, but as we reach, we're then going to reach over with the body as well, and then glide back to the starting position. And the same with the other side, as we reach and we return. So this time we're actually starting to transfer the body weight from side to side as well. And you will find that as you reach, the weight comes off the buttock on the opposite side, and that's exactly what we're looking for. The side we're reaching towards, that side of the trunk becomes longer, whereas the other side becomes that little bit shorter with the hip coming upwards. But hopefully you're noticing that my shoulders are staying level throughout the entire movement. They're staying parallel with the floor, parallel with the ceiling. And we'll do just the one more to each side. Lovely. And then we are going to let these arms come to rest down by your sides. Okay, let's start off with a little bit of exercise with the shoulders. So we're going to roll one shoulder back and then just gently float that arm forwards and melt it back down by your side. And then the other side, we roll the shoulder, we float forwards and we melt back down. So we roll, we reach and return. And the same with the other side. So this is starting to get some nice movement in the shoulders, but hopefully you notice that we're keeping the trunk nice and stable. So it's just the arms that we're isolating the movement in. And with each repetition, I'm bringing the arm that little bit higher each time. So each time the arm's becoming higher and higher until we're up as far as you can comfortably reach. You know what your limitations are. So we roll, we reach and we lower. We're going to bring in a little bit of a variation now, where as we lower, we're actually going to lower the arm down to the side. So we roll, we reach and we lower down to the side. And the same with the other side. So it's nice big circles that we're making with these arms. In a moment we're going to coordinate the arms together. So you know what range that you are comfortable with. This time we've got one arm up, one arm down. As one circles down, one circles up. We're then going to cross the arms in the middle. And then we have one circling down and one circling up. So we say this is almost like a windmill. As we continue making lovely circles with the arms. And let's see if we can get a nice fluid movement going. So rather than pausing between each circle, we'll see if we can keep them moving continuously. And we're going to pause there and we're going to change the direction. So the circles are coming in the opposite direction this time. And we're just going to do another 2 and 1. And let's bring the arms into that prayer position in front of us, ready for our spinal twist. So on your next breath out, we're going to twist round towards the left hand side. And we're going to breathe in to come back to the starting position. Then we'll breathe out to twist to the other side. And we'll breathe in to return. So again, the movement is coming from your trunk. We're keeping the knees pointing forwards. We're keeping the hips pointing forwards as well. So almost imagine that I've put laser beams onto your thighs. And these beams of light are not moving as we're rotating the top part of our body. You can almost imagine that your vertebrae are moving one on top of the other. So that's exactly what we're looking for with the spinal twist. So we're keeping that tall posture throughout the movement. And we'll do just one more. And we're going to let the arms rest down by your side. So the next exercise we're going to do is called the mermaid stretch. And what we do is we slide one arm up towards the ceiling. Then we stretch up and we stretch over. And turn the head to look down towards your other hand. As we breathe in to hold. And then as we breathe out, we'll gently lower that arm back down by your side. And then the other arm will reach up towards the ceiling as we stretch up and over. And turn that head to look down towards your other arm. So it's still stretching through the spine, but it's a different way of stretching now. And that we're coming to the side. We're still working in just the one plane of movement. So if you almost imagine that I put a sheet of glass in front of you and a sheet of glass behind you. And we're going to do one more to each side. And what we're going to do next is we're going to do a little bit of work with these abdominal muscles. So we're going to let the hands rest on your lap. And as we breathe out, we are going to tuck that tailbone under. And we're going to start to roll back with the trunk. We breathe in to hold, and then as we breathe out, we're coming back up into that nice, tall starting position. Now I'm going to come side on so you can see exactly what it is that I am doing with my trunk. So from here, as I breathe out, I tuck the tailbone under, and then I start to round that trunk off. So I'm coming into a C-shaped curve. So I breathe in to hold, and as I breathe out to come back up tall, you can almost imagine I've got a piece of string pulling me up from the breastbone to come into that tall seated position. So we roll back, we breathe in to hold, and then we breathe out to bring ourselves back up lovely and tall. So you may well find that it's as you come back up that you really feel these abdominal muscles kicking in. Now if you want to make the exercise a bit more challenging, we can bring the arms out in front of us, and therefore it's the weight of the upper body that these abdominals are controlling. And trying to make sure that it is the abdominals that are controlling the movement. You're not just letting yourself collapse back in the chair, but you are keeping full control of the movement. Keeping the shoulders relaxed down from your ears, especially if you've got the arms out in front of you. You can almost imagine you've got these nice big dangly earrings on, and we're trying to make sure that we're keeping them away from the shoulders. And we're going to do just the one more roll back. And this time as we come up tall, we're going to let the arms rest down by your side. But we're going to continue to bring the arms back behind us. We're going to lean forward ever so slightly from the hips, and with the palms pointing up towards the ceiling, roll the shoulder blades towards your hips as we then lift the arms. We breathe in to hold, and we breathe out to lower back down. Now what I'm trying to do is to make sure that I'm keeping the neck in line with the rest of the spine. So you'll actually be looking in front of you, but at the floor in front of you, rather than directly in front of you. To keep that neck in line with the spine. Now again, I'm just going to come side on so you can see a little bit clearer what it is that I'm doing with the hands. So I'm going to show you with just the one hand. Well, I might fit in both. So we roll the shoulders, we lift these arms back. We hold, and we gently lower back down. So the shoulders roll back, so we're preparing these shoulder blades. You can almost imagine that they're gliding down towards opposite pockets of the back of your jeans. As we prepare the shoulder blades, and then we lift the arms. We breathe in to hold, and we breathe out to lower back down. And we're just going to do another 3. And 2. And we're going to do just the one more. Excellent. Before we bring ourselves back up, lovely and tall. Okay, we're going to give the arms a little bit of a rest for now. We're going to start doing some work with the legs and with the feet. So first of all, what I'd like you to do is to just lift one heel from the floor and then lower that heel back down. Then lift the other heel from the floor and lower that heel back down. So the movement is actually coming from the hip, and you'll find the knee coming higher as we're lifting the heel. But the whole time we're still keeping that posture, still keeping our balance. As we breathe out to lift the heel, and we breathe in to lower. Now what we can do is we can start to just bring in a gentle sway with the arms by your side. So we're starting to work on our coordination as well. But my body is still pointing forwards. So the movements are coming from the hips and from the shoulders, but there is virtually no movement in the spine. And we're just going to do 2 and 1. And then let these hands come to rest on your lap. We're still going to lift one heel, but now what we're going to see if we can do is to lift the toes as well. The toes come down and the heel comes down. So we'll lift the heel, we'll lift the toes. the toes lower and the heel lowers. So heel, toes, toes and heel and toes, toes and heel. So again, the body's staying still, the movement coming from the hip and from the ankle as well now. And let's just do another 2 and 1 before we bring it on to just a marching in the chair. So we lift and we lower, we lift and we lower. So we've got a lot more movement coming from the hip. Concentrate on keeping the trunk still. We also got our helium balloon and pull it up tall. That helium balloon that's at the crown of the head. And is your centre still engaged for your gentle pelvic floor? Lower abdominal contraction. Excellent. So we're just going to do another 2 and 1. And then letting these legs rest on the floor. We're going to step one leg out to the side and step it back in. We'll step the other leg out and in. So they're coming out to the side now. It's only the one leg I'm moving at a time. The opposite leg is staying still and staying stable. So we're isolating the movement to the one hip at a time. So again, we're going to do another 3 and 2 and 1. And then for something slightly different, we're going to come up onto the toes and we're going to see if we can let the knee come out to the side as the heel rotates inwards and then back to that starting position. So the knee rotates out, the heel rotates in, and then back to that neutral starting alignment. Let's just do another 2 with this leg before we swap to the other side. So to the other side on the tips of the toes, we twist the leg out, we twist the leg forward once more. So we're coming out to the side and back in. So this exercise is very similar to the clam from the APPI Pilates method, except we're practicing sitting. And you're still feeling these muscles on the outside of the thigh controlling the movement. And we're just going to do another 2 and 1. And letting that heel rest down. Let's go back to the first leg. We're going to slide the leg out and slide the leg back in. So just sliding it along your floor as we come forwards and we slide back. Still keeping that tall posture, and think about the angle at your hips, okay? The pelvis is still the sitting bones that we've got the weight coming down through. As we slide forwards and return, we slide forwards and return. And then if you've got the ability, we slide forwards and we lift the leg and we lower back down. We slide forwards and we lift, so we're starting to straighten that knee. So it's just the one leg that we're moving at the time. And if you want to kick in these quads that little bit stronger this time, as we lift the knee, pull the toes towards you and then lower the leg back down. So we slide forwards and lift, pull the toes towards you and lower back down. You may well feel quite a stretch in the back of your calves while we do that as well. And we're just going to do another 2. Should have said 2 with each leg. We've got 1 more with each side. Excellent. And then we're going to think about reaching forward with the heel and back with the toes. So we're going heel and toes, heel and toes. So we're tapping on the floor. Get some nicer movement coming through the heel, through the knee as well. So we're still keeping our tall posture, trying to make sure it's just that one leg that we are using. And we're just going to do another 2 and 1. And then the other side we have heel and toe, heel and toe. Obviously just gently tapping the floor with your heel, tapping with your toe. We'll do 3, 2 and 1, and let's go back to that first leg, and with the heel resting on the floor we're going to point the toes down and point the toes up towards you. So we're pointing down and we are lifting up. So again the movement is coming from your ankle, and let's see if we can start to bring the leg round in some circles, not the leg round in circles, the ankle round in circles. So if the heel is resting on the floor, you know the movement is coming from your ankle, and let's pause there and change the direction of these circles. And we are going to swap to the other leg. So let's bring that leg forward and we point the toes, we lift the toes, we tap the toes down and the heel. So again, the movement comes from the ankle and we make the circles. And we change that direction. And bringing that leg back in. Got one more to do with the legs, and that is the hamstring stretch. So for the hamstring stretch, we reach the leg out in front of us. So the knee is as straight as we can. We pull the toes towards us, and then keeping the back straight, we're going to lean forwards from the hips. You can keep your hand on your chair for your balance if you need to. But as you lean forward, we're looking to feel the stretch in the hamstrings, down the back of the thigh. So we hold that stretch. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up lovely and tall and slide that foot back in. And we always have the same with the other legs. So the leg comes out, the heel to the floor, pull the toes towards you, and then leaning forwards to start to feel the stretch in the hamstrings at the back of your thigh. As we lean forward, you can reach down the leg if you can, or you can hold on to your chair, whichever feels more comfortable and secure for you. And let's bring that leg back in. So we've got both feet flat on the floor. We're going to do an exercise called the arm openings in sitting. Again, this is another one from the APPI, where we open the arm and we follow with the head to open up the chest. We breathe in to hold, and then we breathe out to come back to the starting position. And we're going to do the same with the other side. It's a lovely exercise just for stretching out that spine. Similar to the spinal twist, except we've got the pause in between. I quite often say is to imagine that I've put a pole down the length of your spine and you're trying to spiral your back around that pole, so we're still staying upright, but we're getting that lovely stretch. And we'll do just the one more. And letting these arms melt down by your side. We're going to do one called the upper body roll, which is a lovely stretch where we roll one shoulder back, we reach down to that side. We then roll the body forwards, and then we gently restack the spine bone by bone, bringing ourselves back up lovely and tall to the starting position. So we roll the shoulder back, we reach down, we roll forwards, and we restack bone by bone to bring ourselves back up lovely and tall. So let's do that again. We'll do one more to each side as we roll back, we reach down, we roll forwards, and we restack bone by bone, And then one more time. And then to finish off, we are going to reach these hands up towards the ceiling. And then we stretch up and we stretch up. So you might not quite see my hands on the screen, but hopefully you can see how the sides of my trunk are getting longer with each reach. The legs are staying still, both buttocks firmly attached to the seat. Let's get a gorgeous stretch. And we'll do one more with each side. And let the arms melt down by your side. And that's us finished our seated Pilates class for today. Well done, I hope you enjoyed it, and I will hopefully have another one ready for you very soon.